Hello, hello, hello. First of all, I'm going to just give you guys a little snippet, and we're going to really discuss this and the Javion McGee case and several other things in a live stream this evening at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there. A lot of explosive documents. You're going to see pictures of Asha Degree, pictures from the search, pictures from the original crime scene, pictures of the little girl that's still missing, scrolling in the background, everything, articles on the family whose property was being searched that are from the archives, the 911 transcripts. That's what you're going to see in the background. I'm also going to play you some excerpts of what was contained in the search warrants. Guys, I told you, Dana don't play. DNA. Them garbage bags. That book bag was found in with that book and that shirt you're seeing on the screen now. Those had hair and other DNA samples in them. You're going to hear that. I'm going to play you several excerpts. This may end up being a longer video, but it's worth it. We may finally have answers. That family may finally have answers. But be prepared, you guys. Be prepared. I'll come back in at the end.
And that she was a victim of a homicide and that her death was concealed. Asha was 9 years old when she went missing in 2000 and has never been seen. Someone actually did see Asha Degree being pulled into a green car back in 2000. They also say the genealogical data was key in getting everything really to this point. Now, the Warrants say a trash bag that had some of Asha's belongings inside had some additional DNA. Now, one of the results came back to a man who died back in 2004, and another was a daughter of Roy and Connie Dedman. Now, the Dedmans were at the center of that search last week of several of their properties, where, among other things, a green car was taken from the scene. Now, the Warrants go on to say that at the time of the search warrants being executed, that authorities were looking for evidence of involvement in Asha's disappearance. Now, while it doesn't explicitly say what happened to Asha, the search warrant affidavit does say that authorities believe Roy and Connie Dedman were involved in concealing whatever did happen. Now, last week, an attorney for the Dedmans, they denied any involvement in the case and made a point of the evidence, of saying that the evidence potentially pointed to someone who died. Though there is a DNA match to someone who has died, there was nothing to suggest of that person in the warrants. Now, we spoke today with former FBI Special Agent about the specifics of their searches in the cases and the use of that genealogical data to track down those connections.
I think that DNA tracing is a fantastic tool. If you put your DNA out there in public, it's like anything else you do in public. If it's there, it's for the taking.
That's one little clip from excerpt from the warrants. Here's a second one with even more information.
I want to also tell you that, again, this is 100 pages long, so we will be going through this. Again, one of the biggest lines in here is, based on these findings, investigators believe that Asha Degree is a victim of homicide with her body concealed. Again, we'll make sure to have you.
And finally, one more clip with even more information. Possibly two. I'm going to try to go live, y'all, but it's a lot right now. The bags that were in front of where I worked and by where I lived that contained the book bag and the items in it are the bags that they got the DNA match from. It's my understanding that's the black trash bags. Another clip or two. Also, real quick, I need to add this in. There were 4 simultaneous search warrants executed. 3 were in Cleveland County, 1 was in Lincoln County, of what is now an assisted living facility. I believe, allegedly, in my opinion, from what I can glean through tax records, it used to be one of the sites of the school. They also executed a search warrant there, and it's something like Passion Springs, maybe. It's in Shelby, and it's Hawthorne Road, and as far as I can tell, it's only in the name of Connie Dedman. There's a lot in the search warrants, 100 pages long. But I'm going to keep updating. That's why I want to do the live at 10 p.m. tonight, because I want to see if I can get an actual copy. I've done a request, and I'm waiting. All right, a couple more clips. You're going to hear them say 8 search warrants and name who was in them. Here we go.
morning. Jason, investigators say they believe Degree was the victim of
these search warrants, 8 of them in total, carried out across parts of Cleveland County, 1 in Charlotte as well, giving us a lot more information, including that 2 suspects have been named whose DNA was found on Degree's belongings. To break this down a little bit more for you here, the warrants last week carried out on the property of Roy Dedman. He and his wife Connie are listed as the suspects in the disappearance of Asha Degree, but it's actually their daughter, Anna Lee Victoria Dedman Ramirez, who the warrants say matched DNA found on Degree's belongings. Now, Anna Lee would have been just 13 when Asha went missing. Also listed matching DNA, Russell Underhill. He died in 2004, but the documents say he was a patient at healthcare facilities run by Roy and Connie Dedman. Now, the warrant.
So I guess they're saying in 2 ways that's how it ties to the properties and to the assisted living facility. A news outlet in print, and I'm working to get that exact article, is claiming that the warrant for the assisted living facility contains items or belongings of Asha Degrees. I can't imagine what would and how they would have kept anything around that long. Here's a little more.
From the scene last week. You remember investigators saying it matched a description of what an eyewitness told detectives years ago they saw Asha get into the last time she was seen back in February 2000. The affidavit also says that a Dedman family member told detectives they saw Roy Dedman digging a chest-deep hole in his property several years ago. Now, the warrants show the investigators did seize a number of things from multiple properties, including phones, computers, old diaries, photos, and more. Cleveland County Sheriff Alan Norman sent out a message this morning after the warrants were made public, reiterating that no remains have been found.
So, I just want to comment. If you notice, it says a family member had came forward and said something about something being dug somewhere. So that's also new information along with the DNA matches. And we don't know, let me say this, the warrants didn't have to include everything that they know. There's a lot I feel has been very carefully worded over the years and held back. And I feel like they gave out what they had to give out to get the warrants. They're going to be holding more. Here's a little bit more.
And saying, quote, I know our community is anxious to learn about every aspect of our ongoing investigation. While we appreciate your support, I urge you to put yourself in the place of Asha's family, who for 24 years have entrusted law enforcement to do everything possible to find her. Please do not spread or share rumors on social media. Official information will be released by my office when appropriate. Pray for Asha, her family, and everyone who has worked for decades to locate Shelby's sweetheart. Now, as the sheriff mentioned there,
that's just what I want to leave everybody with. I want to leave asking that everybody be praying. I know that I'm kind of deeply affected by all this information, and people may not understand it, and I get that. But for almost 9 years on and off, I worked at a restaurant that looking out the front door is where that book bag, those bags where that DNA was found. For almost 4 years, I lived where my backyard looked out at it, where from 5:45 to 6:15 in the morning, my children were catching the bus, and we could see where the book bag was found, the items that contained the DNA. There was a long felt thought in a probably 5-county surrounding area of where Asia went missing, that maybe a truck driver was involved. And with them not being caught, extra diligent. And you know, kids don't want mom and dad at the bus stop holding their hand, but you don't want to leave them alone. So knowing how that felt, I can't fathom how Asia's parents and brother felt, and the rest of their extended friends and family. And I just think a lot of people are going to owe them apologies, and that we all need to have them held high in our prayers and our hearts at this time. I think they need it more than ever. Mama has never given up hope. Never. Never. She still believes her baby is alive and coming home. And that's what she's been waiting for 24 years. So, I think they need our prayers and our heartfelt holding up fellow parents, brothers, sisters in Christ to help them right now, because it's got to be so hard. This is probably the hardest part. I've lost a child, but I know what happened. I can't fathom not knowing. My heart breaks for these parents. Peace, love, and light. And hopefully I'll see everybody tonight. I'm just waiting on a little more information verification. Thank you all. Please like, share, subscribe, and remember to hold those parents in your hearts.